So this is part 2 of my mini series. Part 1 was all about the reasons why I chose to do a limited edition print run and why I decided that doing it via Redbubble was not right for me. Now if you want to go check out that video first, I will link it up here for you and I'll see you back here in a second. For part 2, I wanted to talk about the process that I actually took in a step-by-step manner so that you can go about doing it yourself if you choose to. As always, I put the timestamps in the description for you, so you can just skip to the part that's relevant. And if you choose to come back here later, as you go through the process, you can be reminded of what the next step is. There's actually going to be a really helpful section about pricing your art prints. Now, I know that this is a very difficult topic for a lot of people, and I hope it helps you. This video is going to have a lot of information. So do feel free to break it down, come back when you need to, use those timestamps to make it easier for you. But just to give you a heads up, there's going to be a lot going on in this video. One last thing, if you do want to have regular helpful advice on your own art journey or your own art career, then please consider hitting the subscribe button. I try to deliver content like this every single week. Now, let's get into the video. Step 1, you're going to need some artwork. It sounds crazy, but you're going to want to have something that actually resonates with people. For me, I created Patience as a very emotive piece. I had no intention of selling her as prints initially. So just because you want to do a limited edition print run, it doesn't mean that you have to go out and make artwork specifically for that. You could possibly have a piece all ready to go. It's just having something available ready to make prints of that people can get an idea or a feel for before you go out and set up the limited edition print run. But first off, make sure you've got some artwork that is ready to go. That leads on to step 2. You're going to want to share that artwork. A good idea is building up a bit of hype around the artwork first. With Patience, I actually shared her to an art community on Facebook, and I was really surprised when she got something like 3,000 likes and a bunch of comments that were basically begging me to make prints. That sentence, do you have prints or will you be selling prints? It's really good to not ignore that. Essentially, you could be leaving money on the table. If someone's asking for prints, they want to buy a print. Not every person who asks for prints is actually going to necessarily go on to buy a print, but having that question asked is a really good sign that maybe you should consider it. Now, I want to include a really big tip here. If you share your piece somewhere and someone says to you, will you make art prints? Reply to them and say yes, for one, if you're planning to do an art print run. Say that you're planning to do a limited edition print run, and also ask if it's okay to message them about it in the future. Now, there's a big reason for this, and it's basically you're making contact with that buyer already, but you're getting their details, and if they say yes, make note of them. Go back to your post when that print run is available, find them again, and message them directly. If they're saying yes, they want to be reminded. People will be really grateful that you told them and probably will buy immediately. They really want you to remind them. If they see something they like and they miss out on the opportunity, they're probably going to be quite sad, or they might even forget about it entirely. It's almost a guaranteed sale at this point. And if they miss your post saying it's available, there's a good chance they'll never buy it. So by reminding them, you're doing yourself a favor by getting that sale, and you're doing them a favor by giving them the chance to own something that they actually want to own. So do take note of them and remember to DM them directly when the time comes. And if they receive a tailored reminder, they're going to be really grateful, so do remember to do so. Step number 3. Now, this is going to be a big step, and it's all about pricing and doing research about the prints that you're going to make. I recommend when you're doing a limited edition print run is to make at least 3 or 4 different sizes. This will automatically cater for a wide array of budgets. And plus, some people might want a really big print, while some might actually only want a little version of it. And if you limit yourself to only one size, you might be missing out on potential sales elsewhere. What you're going to want to do is you want to get an idea for how much it's going to cost you to manufacture each individual print. And this will start helping you get an idea of how much to charge for that print. Let's take my largest print size, which was 45 centimeters by 60 centimeters. So it wasn't quite as big as this, but it's pretty close to how big the original is. When I researched my manufacturers, I found one that I was really happy with that had great paper type, and it's going to cost me 30 euros to manufacture one copy. That sets basically the base manufacture price. I then factored in the gold leaf that I was going to use. I estimated perhaps 2 or 3 sheets of gold foil. It costs me about 20 euros for 25 sheets of gold leaf. So that's about 80 cents per leaf. I added on €1.60 for the 2 sheets of gold leaf that I was going to use for the print. When I was pricing my prints, I decided it was quite important to include worldwide shipping in that cost because I wanted people to see the price and know that that was the price and that they didn't get to check out and finally be lumped with something that was actually more expensive than they were expecting, because shipping can be expensive. Lots of my audience are based in the US, in the UK, so I knew that actually a lot of people were going to be buying from abroad and I had to factor that in. Because if we look at the 60 by 45 centimeter prints, shipping alone internationally using the right size packaging and secure packaging that I was going to have to buy as well, I was looking at €49 just for shipping. Another thing as well is that I wanted to make sure I factored in processing fees. Now, depending on where you host your prints, if you do it via your own website, if you do it via Etsy, that choice is up to you, but there will be processing fees included with each of those different websites. I host mine on a website that is my own, and I receive payments via the PayPal or Stripe. They charge roughly 3% for processing, so I factored that in as well. You can also add on the price of packaging depending on how much it costs you for the actual box or envelope that you're going to use. Maybe you're going to send it in a rolled up tube, so do factor that in if you can. So base price for just the 45 by 60 centimeter prints, including manufacture, shipping and the fees, I was looking at €100 per print. Of course, I wanted to make a profit on that. I ended up coming up with a figure of €147. That's a profit of €47 per print. You can work out your profit margin here as well. So take the profit, divide it by the sales revenue and times it by 100. So in this case it was 47 divided by 147 times by 100. And for the larger print I was looking at a profit margin of about 31%. Now, to give you an idea, let's also look at the smaller prints that I made. The smallest I did were 15 by 21 centimeters. To manufacture, each was €5. To ship internationally, each was going to be €4. And I approximated 1 gold leaf for the smaller print, so that's about 80 cents. Then you've got the processing through Stripe and PayPal again, and that's approximately only 30 cents. So I ended up with a base price of €10, 10 cents. I priced these prints at €19.97, so that was a profit of €9.87 for the smaller prints. But that was a profit margin of just over 50%. So I find that the smaller prints were actually going to give me a larger profit margin. It's up to you. You can keep that profit margin consistent over all of your print prices. If you feel like that print deserves it, charge more as profit. A good guide for a profit margin could be between 20 and 60%. So if you feel like your prints are worth it, charge that. Don't undersell yourself. Another tip here that I haven't really talked about, and I don't think I will discuss it necessarily just because it's entirely dependent on your country, but that's taxes. You will need to account for this, and maybe you want to factor that into your prices as well. But you have things like income tax, especially if you're doing this as your job, and also there might be things like VAT. But do be aware of your tax laws. It's something that's really important, and the last thing you want to do is get caught up. So step number 4, once you've got an idea of how much you want to charge for your prints, is to find somewhere where you can host the sale of those prints. I have my own e-commerce website where I can list items for sale, and it's all kind of dealt with there. But you might choose to use something like Etsy. That's up to you. It's not something I would do, but it's an option. Ultimately, what you want to do is to be able to have somewhere that your print is listed, that you collect payments, and that you can send that link to someone in order for them to buy that print. So yeah, you could always use something like Shopify or Etsy. Ultimately, it doesn't matter too much, as long as you're able to collect payments and shipping details. So another thing to include is that Shopify and Etsy will also have their own level of percentage when it comes to fees that they take. You will need to be aware of those and factor that into your price as well, so it's something worth considering. Step number 5, once you've got your prints listed somewhere, start building up anticipation. Decide the pre-order window as well. Anticipation is actually a really massive driver for sales, and if people know that the shopping window is going to be limited, they're more likely to take action when that window is actually open. But I would want to make sure that as many people know about that window as possible, so it does mean driving anticipation for at least a few days to a week before that window opens. A good sales tactic, and I think most places do this, is they actually start to plug a product a little while before that product is available. Often just dropping that product and hoping it sells is not necessarily the best technique for getting as many conversions as you possibly can. If someone's excited for something before that window's open, they're much more likely to jump on it as soon as that window opens. So do try and build anticipation before your window is open. And talk about that print, tell them why you've made it, why it's important to you, why they should want to buy it. And it's not about telling them you're going to love this, you should buy it. It's more about building up a connection emotionally with people. With patience, for me, it was showing people about taking that time to stop and enjoy the moment. And I saw that when I painted this owl, and there was lots of people who felt that too, and it was actually that motivated people to buy it. It was not about, you know, look at this pretty owl, you might want it in your house. It's more like, feel the warmth from this cozy owl and know that she's reminding you to slow down and to enjoy the moment. That's the thing that people connect with, and that's the thing that actually drives more sales. So use the opportunity during the anticipation phase, as well as actually during the opening of the window, to build up excitement and connection with the print. Step number 6, you've built up anticipation, you've got a website or somewhere to sell your print, you've got an idea of prices. The next stage, step number 6, is to actually sell the print. This is the window to buy. This is the pre-order stage where people want to come and pay you and will get the print once it's manufactured. Use this as a time to go back to the people that messaged you or commented to say that they wanted to print. Directly message them. Let them know in the comments of Facebook, for example, that you've messaged them. Because of the way that security works, not everyone will just get a message in their inbox. It'll go kind of into, you know, accept or decline stage. So commenting and getting through to them just to say that you've messaged them is a really good thing to do. Share that you've got it live. Put it in the bio of your Instagram. Make it available so that people can just click on it. And don't be afraid to market it. So just get out there and tell people that the window is live now and start taking payments for the prints. I know for a lot of people, and I've had this issue before and I felt it and I understand it, is that taking payment without having a product to immediately give to someone can be kind of a block for a lot of people. It can be quite scary. You've got someone's money, but you don't have something to deliver to them right away. One thing I want you to bear in mind is that people are in control of their own finances, and if they want it, they're going to buy it. That's up to them and they can do so. The important thing for you to do is maintain integrity and honesty about this, and to understand that the money that they've given you is for the manufacturer. All you're doing is facilitating that, and you're taking profit for the time that it takes to do so. So the decision to buy is entirely up to your buyers. It's not up to you. You're not forcing them to do this. Plus, if you're really worried that something might go wrong, for example, you take the payment, something goes wrong in the manufacture process, so you can't fulfill those prints, you have the power to refund. You have the option to do so. You can give people their money back, and you can just say, look, I'm sorry it didn't work out, here's your money back, there's no risk. You have that power, so don't worry. The most important thing, and I can't stress this enough, is to be open, honest and transparent with your buyers. Tell them the facts up front, and in that sales funnel or on the page where they buy the print, tell them that this is a pre-order window. When I opened my pre-orders, I gave people the general idea of a time frame to which they can expect to receive their prints. That way they go in and they're informed and they make this decision based on what they want. You'll be surprised actually about how many people out there are willing to wait for something that they really want. And I always overestimate when it comes to time frames, and this goes for my commissions, this goes for everything. It is so much better to overestimate how long something will take and deliver early than it is to underestimate and be stressed and panicky and miss steps because of that short window. If you know something is going to take 2 weeks to manufacture, give it a third week to give yourself that room and that leeway to go, do you know what, I'm not going to rush this, I'm going to take my time. If things go wrong, they're catered for. So always overestimate how long things will take, and be upfront with your buyers at the beginning stage so they know that going into it. They'll be super happy if they get something early. I mean, who wouldn't be? Step number 7, keep plugging, keep trying to sell this print, even through the window. You might have built up that anticipation beforehand and got a rush of sales on the first day because people are ready to go. But that doesn't mean people won't keep buying through that window. Do keep trying to plug it, keep sharing it on Instagram, put it in your stories, put it in Facebook groups. Make people aware that it's available. Don't worry about oversharing it. I know lots of us can feel like we're spamming people by sharing it a lot, but I promise you, if someone doesn't want to see it, they're just going to scroll on and forget that they've seen it anyway. If someone does want to see it, they can be really glad that they spotted it because this came into their life at the right time. The amount of people that message me saying, this print turned up on my feed today and I'm so glad it did because I really need it, because it means a lot to me, because it reminds me of someone. I would much rather plug it every single day with the possibility of someone getting annoyed and seeing it 3 times, knowing that there could be someone out there who hasn't seen it yet and is grateful that you happen to share it on that day. There's always a chance that some person hasn't seen it yet. There's always the chance that someone said, you know what, I'm going to buy that, but I'm going to get it on the last day because I can't really buy it right now, or I have to wait for my paycheck to come through, so I'll buy it then. But then they forget about it. But because you posted about it on the last day, they go, thanks for reminding me, I'm gonna go get it now. So don't be afraid to market it, to sell it, to really get it out there. There's no such thing really as oversharing. It's just getting it out there. It's just marketing, it's just business. And if you're worried about, say, your Instagram feed looking really cluttered afterwards, or looking really busy because every single post is this one painting, you can archive things later. Don't worry about it. Just get that out there, get the sales in, and deal with everything afterwards. Step number 8, this is the last step, I promise you. It's close the sales window. Once I've done this and I've made sure that the print is no longer available to buy, I made sure to actually email every single person and tell them directly that their print order was confirmed, to tell them that the manufacture process was beginning, and basically touch base with them, because I want to remind them that I'm a person here, I'm dealing with it, and I'm also working on making something that is very special for them. And just by having that little bit of extra contact afterwards reassures your buyer as well. They're the ones that have made this possible for you, so ultimately they'll appreciate being kept in the loop throughout the process as well. All you need to do now is tally up the prints, count how many of each size that you need to order, go on, use the money that's already been invested to manufacture the prints. Then you can go through the next stages of when they arrive, you can hand finish them, and then you go on to ship them afterwards. This stage, might take a little bit of extra time, but you've done the hard work by marketing. All you need to do now is to receive the prints and then get them finished and off to their new home. So I appreciate that video is a massive essay on how to go about selling these prints and doing a limited edition pre-order run. I appreciate it might be quite overwhelming for a lot of people, so I do understand if you need to take breaks or come back to it. And please let me know if you have any questions at all about this process. If I can help you any further so that you can make this achievable for yourself, fantastic. Do let me know. You can either email me or you can message me on Instagram. I'm always available if you need an extra bit of help. So if you did find this helpful and you want to learn more for your creative journey, I'd love it so much if you consider subscribing to this channel. It's actually amazing how many people might not realise they're not already subscribed to this, so just hit that subscribe button, maybe hit the notification bell as well so that you don't miss any more videos. I've got some helpful links in the description as well for you. If you want to go shop art supplies with either Ohuhu, Arteza, or even Amazon, all the links are in the description. I've also got my freebie, the Ultimate Art Block Survival Guide, 100+ tips and prompts to help you jumpstart your creativity. That's all in the description as well for you. So have a great week, guys, and I can't wait to see you for the next video. Bye bye.